What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into the 2022 annual of Nightwing. While there are a handful of stories inside of this comic, we are going to be focusing on the first story. Tom Taylor is finally giving us the identity to Heartless. We are going to find out exactly who he is, what he is up to, and what his plans for Bloodhaven are. For those that don't know what we have seen from Heartless so far, he is going around Bloodhaven and he has been stealing the hearts out of people. He has gave Nightwing a run for his money, and most recently, he took the heart of Blockbuster, and this is going to change everything. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, this one is starting us with the Flying Graysons. This is the moment that shaped him. That night at the circus. Those beautiful people, so strong, so graceful, so confident, soaring through the air. This was the night that defined him. And we're not talking about Dick Grayson. But before we can get to the night of the Flying Graysons and the death of Dick Grayson's parents, we pick up at a manor. A man coming in because he is the new butler, going by the name of Gerald Chamberlain. He has come to be the butler for the Lyle family. While Gerald had great ambition when he first arrived, what he did not expect was Shelton, showing signs of being a serial killer from the very earliest of ages. Killing mice, preparing to kill the house cat. The parents seeing this in absolute dismay, absolutely disgusted at what their son is starting to become. The father only knowing to lash out with his fist. This is when the butler Gerald steps in, taking the boy, picking him up, putting him on his feet, getting him out of the sight of the parents, because he saw something in this boy that the parents could not. A kind of beauty only a monster could see, because this butler, he is not in fact Gerald Chamberlain. On the boat ride from England, he had met a man on the ship. He had met Gerald Chamberlain. As the two of them drank, they talked about their new future in America. This is when he killed Gerald and he took his identity. He became Gerald Chamberlain, throwing the body overboard somewhere in the North Atlantic. After hearing about how rich the Lyle family is, he wanted to go work for the Lyle family, charm his way into their will, and then plan their demise. But he quickly learned that that wasn't going to happen. He would never be wrote into the will because Mr. Lyle, he was a cruel man, and not in a good way, not in a fun way. A miserable, greedy, boring old man. But working for this family, he found something else. He found Shelton. Well, Shelton would sit here and he would be very cruel to animals, dissecting, destroying, setting things on fire. He was a menace in the making. Instead of the parents sending the boy to therapy and getting him some mental help, they left Gerald in charge of him. Gerald wanting the boy to have some new experiences. He used to take him on special outings, to the butcher's shop, to the zoo at feeding time, and to the circus. A boy that never talked, that wasn't really intrigued with anything, but that night at the circus changed the boy forever. As he watched the Grayson parents fall to their death, as he saw the pain in Dick Grayson's eyes, in the middle of all the screaming, horrified audience, that boy's face lit up. Finally, something had reached him, and then he began to speak with such enthusiasm, saying that it was amazing. The boy's face, the teardrops coming from the clown's eyes, making all of the makeup smear. Now, Gerald does tell him that you need not tell your parents about what is going on, that this is something that they wouldn't understand. But Gerald, more than anybody, he understands. That is the day that made Shelton. He came out of his shell. He went from withdrawn and silent to charming and positively awesome. He was confident. He was smooth. People began to be drawn to him. As he grows up, goes into high school, he was able to get other people people to do the violence he wishes to inflict. This is when he has an encounter with Dick Grayson. This is actually something that we saw back in Nightwing issue number 78. We are finally having the connection. This boy back in the day that Dick Grayson smashed his freaking teeth in, that boy would one day become Heartless. So we're seeing that Shelton's fate, everything that he is, everything Heartless will become, it is deeply intertwined with Dick Grayson. With his teeth being repaired, Shelton was finally looking on the up and up while disguising the serial killer that lies underneath the surface. His parents signed over everything to him. He was put into the will, and that is when Gerald decided that he is going to take out the parents. But Gerald Chamberlain made a mistake. The helicopter the parents were flying out on, Gerald had set an explosive. What he did not expect was young Shelton to be on board. Luckily, he was able to survive, and in surviving, he got a heart transplant from his father, being able to harvest the father's heart. When the boy wakes up and learns of his parents' deaths, he says good, and this is when everything changed. With all of Shelton's injuries, he wasn't nearly the person that he was before. With all of their money, all of their access, this is when the replacements began, having billions of dollars at their disposal. This is when they slowly began to enhance the boy, removing arms, replacing them with mechanical ones, becoming stronger, becoming something more. Over the next decade, the boy became a man, and then for the first time, he put on that mask. He became Heartless. He became the hunter, tore out hearts and tore apart families. He gathered so much joy from the destruction of these families. And while he was very much enjoying the hunting, it was time for him to take more. And so he fought the Knight of Bloodhaven. He slayed the King of Bloodhaven. And now he is posed to take the kingdom for himself. And today is the next step in his evolution. Now that they have the heart of Blockbuster, having the heart of a giant, the strength of this heart will be able to keep up with his enhancements. That is why he has had to constantly steal hearts. He has enhanced him so much that his heart is never able to take it, that he has to replace it frequently just for his body to operate properly. But now that he has the heart of Blockbuster, this means everything is going to change. Cracking his chest open, when he wakes up, they will slowly begin to tear the heart out of Bloodhaven, and Heartless will get to watch as Dick Grayson loses everything all over again. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I do like this story because it really does feel like this could have been Bruce Wayne if he had those serial killer tendencies at an early age. If Alfred wasn't the loving, kind, father-like figure that he always was. This could have very easily been Bruce Wayne to turn into Heartless. This almost feels like an evil mirror dimension of Bruce Wayne. But now we fully understand exactly what Heartless is, where he comes from, and where he is planning to go. Now, if you guys have been enjoying Nightwing, I highly recommend you go pick this up, because not only do we have an introduction to the truth of Heartless, but there's also some story in here about Haley, aka Bitewing. There's also a story of Dick Grayson more or less helping mentor Jonathan Kent. He is beginning to train Jonathan on how to properly fight. In fact, there is also a fight between Nightwing and John Kent. But let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get caught up on everything going on with Nightwing, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It is gonna get you completely caught up on the entirety of Tom Taylor's Nightwing. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having 5 different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only would you be helping out the channel tremendously, you are gonna get tons of perks in the the process. Now, if you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.